Okay, I would like to, if I can, talk about the Virginia Beach shooting. Um, this was another episode of a disgruntled employee. Now, let's face it, a lot of people that work have problems at work. Whether you work for the post office, whether you work for the fucking library, whether you work for, okay, supermarket, okay? Lots of people have problems at their job. Maybe you get a new job, maybe you don't. I'm not gonna lie, okay? I'd be lying if I said I never had a problem with my job. I'd be lying if I said I have an argument with anybody. I'd be lying if I said I didn't get frustrated. Okay? Seriously. Things frustrate us. Okay? But bringing guns to work and killing everybody is the uber frustration. Okay? That's normally a guy that is frustrated with their job. Compile that with having some very, very serious psychological problems like sadism or antisocial personality disorder. Okay, you gotta have a lot of fucking problems in order for you to say, you know what, I'm gonna get my gun and I'm gonna go to work today and I'm gonna kill everybody. Now, this building was a municipal building. Now, there are many different buildings that have many different functions. Okay, if you have a small city, small town, or village, they may literally have the courthouse, the library, the police station, and the Board of Education in the same building. Literally. Okay, I'll give you some examples. Where I live, there's one building, it's a library and the Board of Education. And every employee, regardless of what department you're in, goes there for their ID, their employee ID. That's right. Yeah. The main building where I park next in, on the corner of me, is the courthouse, the policeman headquarters, and the jail. That is the most secure building in the city. That's where I did my internship at. That building has police administrators, captain, lieutenant, chief, commissioner. Okay, it has detectives division. It has the crime scene division. And this is public information, by the way. I'm not. This is public information. Okay, those are all full-fledged police officers. Okay, who in addition to being a police officer have another skill and do that skill, detective, captain, shit like that. Okay, it's an administrative thing. Okay, and the other wing is the detention area where they have the correctional officers who guard the jail. It's a very small jail, and it's mostly for guys that are being detained for one day or guys getting ready to go down to court. Okay, they don't have like long-term confinement there. Okay, and then you have the court, which are state court officers. Okay, and all those guys that I mentioned are authorized to carry firearms in the building. They may not carry a firearm when they're handling a prisoner, but they're authorized to wear a firearm in the building. Okay, stuff like that. And then you have other employees, secretaries, clerks, cashier. Okay, employees do that shit. Now, employees are never searched. Never. Okay, a lot of times there'll be a door that leads to the outside. You can scan it, get a buzz, go upstairs to your office. Other times, you can go into the main door, which is where the court checkpoint is at, show the court officers your ID, and they let you go by. You don't go through the detective, you go around the detector. All civilians, regardless of where you're going for whatever reason, have to go through the court area, go through a scanner, go upstairs. If you want to talk to a detective, you ring the detective's bell. The detective comes out to you, and he decides whether or not you get searched, whether you're going at all. He decides that, not me. Okay, and that's how you do things there. Okay, 3/4 of the building is off limits to the public. 3/4 of the building is locked, where you have a solid steel door and a card. Beep, open the door. If you need to go somewhere without the key, you have to show an employee your employee ID, give them your reason, and then go. They open the door for you. If you want to borrow an employee's key, they will give you the key to go in that area. But that's because you're an employee yourself and they know you or they've checked your ID. Okay, you don't go past it. If you go past the checkpoint that says do not enter, you get arrested. If the door is open and you wander there by accident, they may give you a warning. But if you somehow get past the door, you get arrested. the detention area, it says flat out, you come past this point, you're getting arrested. Okay, and it's the most secure building there. Now, a lot of these places have you may have a city hall or live. There are areas you can go and cannot go. And this guy, because he was an employee, he had an access card that could get him into certain areas without being searched, without going through the search point, going around the civilian entrance. And I'll tell you, where I work at, that main building, not one key will open everything. Okay, no one is authorized to open every single door. Okay, if you're a detective, you're not authorized to open the judge's chambers. Okay, if you're a crime scene guy, you're not authorized to go into the forensics lab. Okay? Obviously, you can ring the bell and get it and open the door for you and say, I'm a detective and I have a rape on my hands and here's the evidence that I gathered. Okay, that's fine. But as far as opening the door and going in there without permission or without being watched is a no. So this building this guy went into, he was an employee, he had an access card, he was able to get into a couple different doors and unload. And they probably were able to tell based on his location in the building. I don't know a lot about the building. The building's older than me and it's been added to many times and it's a maze. So they could probably tell by how fast he was moving or what area he got into that he either was an employee himself or killed an employee and took their card from them. Okay? And they went to DEFCON 4, they got their rifles out, they started securing the perimeter of the building, they started moving civilians out of the neighborhood. Okay, he was confronted by 4 people. 2 are detectives, which means to be a regular cop first, then become a detective. 2 of them are the special unit. Now, their special unit is the SWAT. They call it different things, okay? Emergency Service Unit, Special Unit, Weapons Unit, okay? They very seldom say SWAT anymore. They normally have some other stupid name for it, but there's a name for it. Okay, and those guys are the best. They have hostage rescue, okay, hostage negotiation, okay, anti-terrorism, okay, medical, okay. Our special guys where I work, my department, okay, they have full-fledged paramedic certification, and they go to a lot of medical issues. They can do hostage negotiation, anti-terrorism, hostage rescue. High-profile warrant. High-profile warrant means if the judge wants the guy brought in, the judge gives the warrant squad a warrant and says, bring this guy into me. And they go looking for him, go to his house, go to whatever, okay? You get every once in a while, you get a guy that's really, really fucking crazy, and the warrant squad will be like, okay. And the warrant squad will call the special unit, and they'll tell the special unit, this guy is very, very, very dangerous. You get him, okay? The special unit guys, okay, and I have a guy who does that, a friend of mine from high school who does that in White Plains. The special unit guys, they're the police of the police, okay? When the police are afraid to go, they go. They go where the cops don't want to go. Anytime you see a cop say, fuck it, I'm not going, they send in those guys. Okay? So 2 of the guys were special unit guys who were also canine handlers. And these 4 guys got to him first. And they engaged in a battle that lasted several minutes. And let's face it, when a guy's throwing bullets at you, okay, that's several minutes, might as well be 20 years. Because when you pull a trigger on a gun, the bullet hits the target before the sound of the gun is made. That's how fast the bullet travels. So imagine how many times you can pull the trigger and fire the bullet in that many minutes. One officer was hit, but his body armor saved him. And after a while of throwing back and forth, they eventually got him down. When they got him down, they went to save his life. And the police chief of their boss, sorry, I'm hanging on my pull up here. Their boss wanted to emphasize, this is what makes us different. Okay, this guy was killing people. He killed 12 people. He killed 11 people, and one person died and moved to the hospital. That's 12. He killed 12 innocent people, and he tried to kill a lot more. And he tried to kill the 4 cops. And he shot one and wounded him. But amid the carnage, they still stopped what they were doing to help him. Now, how I personally feel about it, I don't know what their department policy is. This is how I feel about it. Okay? You're the suspect, you need medical attention, you come last. If I got a building, and this is me talking, I don't know what department policy says, I don't know what feasibility is, but if I have a building full of people who were shot, whatever, beat up, okay, and the son of a bitch that was trying to kill them, he himself was shot, this is what I do. I take my handcuffs, I handcuff him. He needs medical attention. He gets medical attention after every single person is treated. And if he dies in the meantime, fuck him. Because I do not want to find out later on that while the paramedic was working on this guy, that guy bled to death. While the paramedic was driving this guy to the ambulance, when the paramedic was driving this guy to the hospital, that woman there suffered internal bleeding and died because she didn't make it to the hospital in time. You gotta understand, when people are shot, depending on where the bullet lands, how hard the bullet hits, what part of the, okay, all that bullshit, okay? You can, a minute, 10 seconds could be the difference between life and death, okay? You remember the Rodney King, not the Rodney King, the LA riots, the white guy, they put him out of the truck and beat him with bricks, and 2 black guys came to him to the hospital? The doctors told the guys at the hospital, if you were 1 minute late, he would have died. So do you want to find out that these innocent people died because the suspect was being driven to the hospital instead of them? Okay, I gotta transport 25 wounded people. The suspect is guy 26. He's in the back of the line. I'll handcuff him. I'll tie him up. I'll put my fucking gun to his head and hold him for an hour if I have to. But not one innocent person is gonna get medical attention after the suspect. That's my rule. Okay, that if I was the guy in command, if I was that guy, well, they might have just said, you know what, we got him down. Let's take care of him and bring him to the ambulance. Okay. Okay, and they might have went around the building searching for more innocent people. I don't know, but my rule is, if I shot a guy, he goes down. I'm gonna say who needs medical attention. Okay, everybody get in line. He gets in line last. Okay, this is my personal opinion, separate from department policy. I don't know how you're gonna feel about that. Now, if you're an employee and you're in an area like this, there are several possibilities. Possibility 1, it's an employee that came in because he wasn't searched, or came in a back door or side door, okay, or a secure entrance. Okay, calculate how many guys have the key to your door and lock yourself in. Now, when my mother was in her office years ago, they moved offices themselves, but my mother's office, she had a scan key to open up the doors to get into the building, but then her office door with her employees in it was a traditional key, and only they had that traditional key. Only they can get in there. That's it, only them. And maybe the police commissioner. Okay? So if you're in an area where you have a door that only has 6 or 7 keys, and those guys are in the door already, go into that room, close the door, barricade it. Okay? And wait for help. Try as hard as you can to get into your secure area that only you can get to. Okay? If you're a civilian, understand that the the exit. There are special doors that say exit employees only. If there is a mass shooting, you can go down there. Even if it says do not enter, as long as there's an emergency going on, you can go down there. The doors in the building I work at are designed so that if there's a fire, civilians can go into this stairwell, down the door, and out. They can't come back in once the door closes, but they can go out. So at least if you can get to a stairwell, you can run down the stairs and get out. Is the bad guy in the stairwell? Good question. But at least you can get out. Assuming he's not in the stairwell, you can get out. Okay? If you have an employee going in and out of an area, ask the employee, listen, there's a mass shooting, can we hide in your office? Typically, they're not civilians aren't allowed in there, but once again, mass shooting, a couple of civilians can get into the office, close the door, that'll be that. Okay? Fortunately for the building I work at, if you're a civilian, or if you're in an area open only to civilians, $10 says there's a court officer right there. Because the people go in the lobby where the court officers are, the checkpoint. They go upstairs, and every single courtroom has a court officer in it, at least one. And the main areas in the hallway where you can walk back and forth, or go to pay a ticket. Okay, those areas there, or go to file to be heard in court. You go there with your lawyer and you say, I would like to sue my cousin for whatever the fuck. Okay, those areas. There's usually a court officer walking in the hallway to make sure the hallway is secure, to make sure guys aren't shouting. Okay, you guys can out of court and fist fighting. Okay, so there's at least one court officer there. So odds are within a few feet there'll be someone there with a gun to protect you. Okay, and obviously you do what they say. They say get behind here, you go behind there. If they say get behind me, you get behind me. And that's pretty much it. Now, obviously, they're not making a big thing out of this. Why? All mass shooters are supposed to be white, crazy white guys, okay? This individual is black. Now, personally, I don't give a shit about skin color, because your color doesn't tell me who you are. Your behavior tells me who you are. Okay, that's my personal opinion. But because he's a black person, the media does not want to hype it up. If he was a white Christian guy, if he was a white guy with an NRA hat or a Make America Great Again hat, okay, yeah. But because he's black, the media is not going to go crazy over it. I've only seen one picture of the guy. Unlike Adam Lanza, who's a skinny little white kid, they can exploit that. Okay? The other reason is he had handguns. And I think it was a Glock. They said a 45 caliber Glock with high cap magazines, which means Glock. A 45 pistol with high capacity magazines. And I'm thinking, the only one I can think of that has high capacity magazines is the Glock 31 with the big stick mag. Yeah. I don't think any other 45 caliber pistol has extensive magazines. Say more than 15 rounds at the most. The FN has like a 15 round magazine, but that fucking thing is big and yeah. But longer than that, I think the only one's a Glock 21. Now, magazine capacity aside, the Supreme Court said that handguns are legal. He did not have a rifle with a pistol grip. So because he did not have a rifle with a pistol grip, they can't exploit it for political gain. The mass shootings are only a big deal when the media can exploit them for political gain. And I think that's it. Thank you.